Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of Beyond the Physical World. This time I'm in America again. I have an American astrologer, and she's called Constance Stellas. Welcome, Constance. I'm very pleased to have you in this episode.
Thank you so much, Nathalie. We worked hard to get together.
Yeah. Yes, we did.
Technology was not our friend for a while.
No. But today it worked, so we can have our conversation.
Correct. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
you're an astrologer, and I have learned that I came to see you in the articles that I wrote. It's inspiring articles in the Netherlands, and I saw that you are the writer about it. So I was very curious about you, and I wanted to invite you for this channel because astrology has my interest as well. And you're literally your parents were from Greece. I read.
My father, half of my family was from Greece. I was born in America, and my father was born shortly after my grandparents came. But he had a revolutionary experience the first time he went to Greece. He was in his 40s, and he just fell in love with his country. And so he decided to send me to Greece to school. And it was a wonderful experience. So I consider myself, by birth, I'm American, but I have an EU passport. So I'm half European or half Greek as well.
Oh, that's very nice. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It's a very nice country. And do you come often to Greece then, or?
Well, this is the terrible thing. I haven't been in a very long time, but I'll be going shortly.
Okay. It's best in the wintertime because you live in New York, I read.
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell our viewers a little bit more about yourself? Because you're a long time you wrote in books and you're on the television. So.
Well, people say, well, how did you become an astrologer? And I say by accident, which is the truth.
Yes.
Because I was in the theater. I was an actress. I did film. I did television. I did classical theater.
Yes.
And I was also in my 20s, which I'm not now. And so it's much easier then. But it's a hard life, very hard life.
Yeah.
So I started to ask, well, am I going to make it? Am I going to be a famous film star? That's what I would like to be. And so I started going to astrologers, many astrologers. And I thought, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
And the signs were good for me to be in the theater and in show business, as we call it. They were fine.
Yeah.
But the more I did astrology, the more I thought, well, maybe I can have a side job on the side.
Yeah.
So for many, many years, I did charts, and I also worked on the stage or in film.
Okay.
And then I had a little job, we'll call it, at a tea room in New York City, beautiful tea room.
Yes.
And they had a habit of having tarot card readers there.
Okay.
And this was just at the beginning of being able to take a laptop with an astrology program so you could calculate a chart in 5 seconds, which was very, very useful. Yeah. So I dragged my laptop to the tea room. I had my little table, and people came and asked questions, or they had their charts done.
Yeah.
There wasn't much time, but I got very quick.
Yeah.
So I liked that because it was a beautiful atmosphere, and many of the people from the department stores and the stores around the neighborhood, especially people who did makeup, came and talked about their boyfriends and everything else. Mm-hmm. Well, one Christmas, there was a woman, a reporter from ABC, and she was downstairs, and she was talking about the store and how many beautiful things were here. And then she said, and if you don't know what to get someone for Christmas, go upstairs and ask the astrologer. She knows.
Yes.
Well, this is a very unusual use of astrology, but it works just fine because every sign in the zodiac has connections with gems, minerals, colors, all sorts of things. So if you kind of stretch it out just a little bit, it's perfect for finding gifts.
Yes.
Well, the media, the newspapers, Marie Claire, Vanity Fair, all sorts of magazines started saying I was a psychic shopper.
Okay.
I am not a psychic shopper. I was basically applying astrological knowledge to it, but
Yes.
it caught on, and it was very good publicity for me.
Yeah.
And it led to my first book, my first book, The Hidden Power of Everyday Things, which I co-wrote. And it's still available, but it's a big fat book. And each page was for a day of the year. And I was the astrologer. There was someone else who did Kabbalah, another intuitive mystery study, and then numerology, another. So we were three people who wrote this book.
Okay.
And it was very popular.
Yeah.
And that led to some other books. I wrote the Everything Sex Signs book, which is always a good seller. And then I wrote Advanced Astrology for people who already knew something but wanted to know more.
Yes. Okay.
So
can you tell me more about what is in the book of the everyday life of the what can people expect?
Yeah. The hidden. You mean the Everyday Life book?
Yeah, the first one.
Each page, and it's divided into a description from an astrology point of view, from a Kabbalah, and from a numerology of what kind of environment you would like to surround yourself with.
Okay.
And then on the side, it's quite useful. There are herbs, gems, colors, metals, some other things that pertain to each day. So it was quite exhausting to write, because from day to day, and this is just for the sun sign, like for you, Leo, August 7th, and then August 8th is still Leo, but it's a different day.
Yes.
So finding the differences was the challenge.
Yeah.
And the three of us also, it was my first experience doing everything online and sending publishing sheets to an email address, but I learned that, and that was fine. So for a while, the books were my major focus, and I was still doing charts for people.
Okay. Yes.
And I was doing theater, but it got less and less and less and less. And then finally, I found my guru, we can say, my mentor, who really was influential in my life. And he was a wonderful astrologer.
Okay.
And he, this part of the story is a little bit shocking, but I'll tell it to you.
Yes.
He decided to move to California, and that was fine. He moved to California. I already was talking to and seeing clients. And then he decided he was going to move to Sedona, Arizona, which I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's a vortex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this place, Sedona, is a vortex. The geophysical vibrations are very strong, and there are millions of astrologers there and people interested, not millions, but many, and people interested in astrology.
Yes.
So my mentor, my very good friend Leor, it was a strange name, but that was his name.
Yes.
Set out for Sedona and had a terrible car crash and was killed.
Yeah. Okay.
So we were all in shock.
Yeah. It was your
I knew many of his clients were in total shock. We said, I should tell Leor that he's dead. It was so upside down.
Yes.
But what happened was that many of his clients then came to me.
Oh, okay.
And in that way, it was a great gift. A great
Yes.
And
so then it got busier and busier at your part.
Right. Busier and busier. And I got to also know him not as a client, but as another professional.
Yeah.
And so the theater got smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yes. So this was not your part anymore. Your part.
No, it really wasn't. It really wasn't. And there were many things about it. I mean, I was fairly talented, but I think to really make it as a performer, you have to have, I call it factor X. It's a certain charisma. It's a certain charisma. And either you have it or you don't.
Yeah.
I had a little bit, but not enough.
So people keep watching you. They want to know more about you.
Right. And now it's a very hard lifestyle. Very hard. Very bad. So that's finished.
Yes.
But the writing then picked up again. And I wrote another series of books called The Little Book of Self-Care.
Yes.
For each sign. And I'm not sure which one is published in translated into Dutch, but it may be that series or the next series that I did.
Okay. Yes.
But I think Audible books.
Yes.
So those little books have done pretty well. And then I wrote a series of guided journals.
Okay.
For each sign, prompts. I don't know if it's popular in the Netherlands, but in America right now, these little guided journals. I'll show you one.
So yeah, let me show. Yeah.
Yeah, I just have one here.
Uh-huh.
Can you see?
Yes, I can see. Yes.
So this is Libra. That's my sign.
Yes.
And each page, there is a suggestion here,
Yes.
and then room for you to write your opinion.
Oh,
There's
okay.
a suggestion. First of all, you learn about astrology in general. Then you learn about your element, fire, earth, air, or water.
Oh, yes.
And then your sign. So Leo is a fire sign.
Yes.
So those came out, and I just finished doing a workshop with those books at a lovely hotel in upstate New York.
Yeah.
So everything's cooking along.
Yeah.
There are ups and downs, definitely, but I'm happy it turned out for this time of the world to be an astrologer.
Yeah, I think it's really great job to be astrologer for this time of the world. Because then you can see at the charts and you can see where it is going, and it's normal. We last had a consult myself with my husband, and we were straight where we have to be at the moment. We were. We're on the good path because astrologer says it has to be like this. So
I think it's a beautiful assurance, astrology.
Yes.
Because when somebody's on the wrong path, it's not healthy, body, mind, or soul.
Yeah.
And every sign has challenges. So we can say the light side and the dark side. But the more you go into the light side of your personality, of your karma, we can say, your challenges, easier life, not only easier, but more fulfilling life is.
Yes.
I think.
Can you see also the changes in the charts of for the people?
Sure, because you have one chart when you're born. That's it. It's like you have blue eyes, you have this chart.
Yes.
But as you live, you progress the chart, you move it forward. Yeah. It doesn't cancel your natal chart. It just adds another dimension because we don't stand still.
No.
If we have the same exact challenges as when we were 20, when we're 40, we're not in the right place.
No. We have to develop. We have to evolve.
Yes. And also the birthday chart is different every year. So when the sun returns to its position when you were born on August 7th, that creates a new chart for the year.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It's called a solar return.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So then you can see what the next year will bring.
Right.
Challenges, new opportunities, things like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
And there are other charts for particular questions. That's very interesting. So a lot of people call me up and say, where do you think my son should go to college? Okay. So I take notice of the time I get the question, the year and the date, and read it from the viewpoint of the kid going to college, of the child going to college, and how that will impact his life or the family.
Oh,
so that's horary astrology. It's a special technique.
Ah, okay. I also heard that there's some kind of astrology that can point out the places in the world that you will fit in the most.
Yes, that's a very interesting. You see, way back when in the ancient times, that's when astrology started, people didn't move around unless it was for trade. You were born somewhere, you stayed somewhere.
Yes.
Well, now we have so many options. And an astrologer named Jim Lewis, who is passed on now.
Okay.
It's really a computer genius and an incredible astrologer. And he said, I wonder if we could take the astrology chart and implant it over a map
Yes.
and see how the lines from the longitude and latitude correspond to the chart.
Yes.
And he really gave birth to this study of astrocartography, astromapping.
Okay.
And he told the most amazing story that made me laugh every time I heard about it. He said, there's one place in Utah, the state of Utah, it's my cosmic flat tire zone. Every time I drive through that area, I get a flat tire. So, I mean, it's amazing.
Did you try it out? Yes.
I haven't tried it out, but he did. I don't know. He did. But I think it was just an example that there's certain places where the vibrations, the energies are conducive.
Yes.
And certain places that have either no interest or detrimental effect.
And then do you think that those places are stick with that same feeling your whole life? Or is it maybe like in the 20s you will be best in the Europe and in your 40s you better be somewhere else maybe?
It could be. It could be. I mean, right now in America, everybody wants to move. Everybody wants to get out.
Yeah. So
yeah, well, I think there's a lot of stress. I mean, there's stress in Europe, but there's America has a lot of reckoning, a lot of things to fix. A lot.
Yes. Yeah. Do you think of moving yourself as well then, or?
Yes, I'd love to go to Greece.
Greece, yes, of course. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't hear very much news about Greece in the news now, so I think
it's quieted down. We had a terrible time with the economy right after we joined the EU.
Yeah.
Not a good time.
No.
But Greece is a small country. It's only Netherlands too, but it's only 11 million people.
Oh, okay. Not so much.
And we had big challenges with immigration because people would just land on the doorstep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Well, in the Netherlands as well, because if you look at my own country now, there are coming so lots of other people from other countries that our children don't have a home anymore to go to if they are old enough to go out of the home. So that is a problem in the Netherlands as well. So it's so difficult times. And do you see it like astrology wise? Do you see things happening in the world or in Europe or in the Americas?
I see overwhelming trends, events. Let me put it this way. Pluto is the last planet that we know of now. There are other planets, but in astrology, we stop at Pluto.
Yes.
And some people say it's not a planet. They say it's a dwarf planet, but it's not true. And the mythology for Pluto is that he was the god of the underworld, Hades, hell. But the underworld also is the source of riches. Could be material riches, but could be spiritual riches.
Yes.
So Pluto in every country's chart has a cycle. Its orbit is very long, 220 years, a long time.
Okay.
So, for example, Pluto is now in the sign of Aquarius. And right before that, it was in the sign of Capricorn. And when the United States was founded in 1776, July 4th, 5:13 p.m., we think, that's out of that. Pluto is in Capricorn. So we, right before COVID, Ukraine war, and the election of Donald Trump, had a Pluto return. We never had that situation before in our history.
No.
In France, it happened, and it corresponded with the French Revolution.
Okay.
So it is a time of unraveling the underneath part of a country's history and looking at what is not so good and cleansing it. But it's not fast. It's not fast. There's a word in English called dredging. And when you dredge, you bring up the mud and you clear these things up.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if you have the same problem with media that we have, but people are making themselves sick by reading about the traumas and terrors in the newspaper, because there are so many.
Yeah.
And it's beginning to affect them personally.
Yes.
And what's the reason for this? Making more money. Clicks. Got to have the clicks. Got to have the, as far as social media goes.
Yes. Yes, of course.
So I'm pretty sure it is worldwide. And not everybody's having a Pluto return, but they're having other planets influencing this problem. We'll put it that way. It's contributing a great deal to stress.
Yes.
A great deal.
Okay. And what do you do for yourself? You keep out of the social media? You keep out of the news?
I put my toe in.
What do you do?
I use it for letting people know that I'm here, I'm doing my work, and if they want to, I have a Substack letter. I don't know if you know about Substack.
No.
It's like a newsletter. It's a site where people can subscribe to your site, and you can post messages or information. So every week I post the position of the moon and how it moves through the week.
Yes.
So it's a small window, but the moon mostly affects our personalities and I should say our emotions.
Yes.
So today, the moon, that's my parakeet, if you can hear her.
Oh, no, I don't hear her.
No, you don't. Okay, good. Today, the moon is in Capricorn. In 2 days, it will be in Aquarius.
Okay.
And then there are periods of time when the moon is between connections with another planet. And that is called the void period, VOID.
Okay.
It tends to happen. People tends to be a little bit unconnected, disconnected.
Okay.
Especially with appointments. You make an appointment, it doesn't hold, etc., like that. So the moon is good to know about.
Yeah. Yeah, you wrote a book about the moon as well, I saw. Is that right? The influence of the moon, I saw also in the book that you wrote. Didn't you write about the moon as well?
I always write about the moon, but I don't think I have one that the title is The Influence. Are you thinking about moon time? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that when I saw it, that's something that it was about the moon, but I don't see it anymore now. Oh, that's strange. Maybe I just forgot.
It comes and goes. It comes and goes.
Yes, of course.
The moon affects us personally the most. Because someday you can be really happy, next day you're really sad, and those changeable emotions affect how you do your work, your life, your relationships.
And do you think that everybody reacts the same on the moon, or is that somebody is for more sensitive? Because me as a pet, I noticed that I sometimes have the rubrics, and there's called rubric sleeping very bad when there's full moon, and there are remedies that connects to those.
Absolutely. We all feel the full moon, but for some people it's exciting and magical. For other people, it's anxiety provoking and worrying, and they can't sleep.
Okay.
Because it also depends on how much the moon is influenced on your chart. Yes. Cancerians are ruled by the moon. So anybody with the birthday in July, end of June, July, is usually very, very influenced by the moon. Your planet is the sun, which is a little bit sturdier. But we want to see where the sun is.
Yes.
And each sign has a ruling planet that affects and influences their life.
The state of being of how they feel.
The state of being.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. And do you know, like the Pluto you just talked about, that things are going to be like hidden or going to be seen? Is it going to be like for a long time, like in years or?
In years. But we can't just grit our teeth and say Pluto is killing us. No, that's an exaggeration. I think, well, first of all, in America, we have the chaos problem. That's not a Pluto problem. It's a Uranus problem.
Okay.
And I don't care what anybody's politics are, but when the president of the United States changes his mind so quickly
Yes.
without necessarily studying the matter, it makes everybody feel confused and very helpless.
Yes.
So that's almost a separate problem. The Pluto problem, though, is to see that the institutions of a country can be fairly maintained.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we have havoc with that. We have not a good situation.
No.
I think it will creep in 2027 towards a better situation.
Mm-hmm.
But when we can sit back and say, okay, we're on a new path, it's going to be a little farther in the future.
Yes.
Doesn't mean we should just sit there and do nothing.
No.
But people cannot bear the burden alone.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to do what we can individually.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I really can't manage crowds, cannot manage crowds.
No.
So I could never go and demonstrate. I don't care how much I believe in the
in the cause or do what to demonstrate for.
Exactly.
Yes.
I'll write letters, I'll make phone calls, but I cannot be in the streets with a lot of people.
I understand.
Not, so you have to choose your way of participating.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, you can. Yeah, I choose to be online and that people know that there are different sides to life and that there are spiritual parts also so important for people. So that's why I choose to do this instead of going to in the 3D lower dimensions and go and get mad about things.
A wise choice, and I agree completely.
Yes.
Completely.
And I spoke to another astrologer in the Netherlands, and she told me also about that the time frame now is a little bit the same as the French Revolution back then. So it's all about like this year and next year. That's It's the same thing.
It's very interesting how astrology has developed since the internet, because it used to be a little secret. You would go to this lady or this man down the street and he would take out the charts and do some mysterious things and not like a gypsy fortune teller, but a little bit different. But if you look at over the history of astrology, starting from the Phoenicians and the ancient Greeks, up until the Renaissance, it was the science for society. Every doctor was also skilled in herbology and astrology. When you pick herbs at certain phases of the moon, they're more potent. When you do other things, for example, surgeries, the ancient physician would make sure that if the problem was in the stomach, you wouldn't be having surgery when the moon was in Cancer, which rules the sun. So there's a whole series of cosmically integrated knowledge with astrology. Then in the Renaissance, also physicians were astrologers. But as we went to the Age of Enlightenment and everybody got big brains and was thinking about machines and making life faster, astrology was not well thought of. No. So it was more hidden. It was thought to be superstition.
Yes.
And in the early 1900s, a famous quotation was from J.P. Morgan, who was this huge, wealthy financier. And he said, millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do.
No. Okay.
Which I thought was very interesting. Not so he could make more money, but he had some recognition that the flow of life has something to do with the planets.
Okay.
He was an astrologer.
Yes.
And then, the internet, which changed everything. Because I started, when I learned, to calculate charts by hand. It's not difficult, but it takes at least 20 minutes.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, with all of the software programs, you can have a chart in 5 seconds.
Oh, wow.
You can get back to Julius Caesar's chart. You can go forward 3,000 years. It's
Yes.
amazing
It is
that you
amazing.
can access so much data.
Yeah.
And it's had its good side in that more people are aware of astrology.
Mm-hmm.
Bad side is it's become terribly commercial.
Yes.
And they're now, I mean, this is a good thing too. There are now schools. You can take a college degree in astrology.
Oh, yeah, it's there. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And before it was like I learned, like an apprentice. I was an apprentice, and
Yes.
that's an old-fashioned way. For me, it worked the best.
Okay.
The other thing is it's become international. So
Yes.
there's a wonderful school of astrology, the London School of Astrology, and they have conferences and events, and they have for when people call in from all over the world.
Oh, wow.
It and then there's the Asian astrology, which is a little bit different, but it's still astrology. So
Yes.
it's never international.
Yes. And it's also like I heard it's like a time of Aquarius and a time for now and the future that it's going to be that you connect for very much more easier with international people and go abroad. It's part of the how it's called now.
Yeah. I mean, I know I have some connections with the Columbia Business School, Columbia University Business School for various reasons. These kids who are about 30 years old
Yes.
think nothing unusual of getting on a plane and flying to Mumbai, or
Yeah.
just huge distances.
Yes.
And then for 2 days, 3 days,
Wow.
it's amazing. It's amazing. International. It's not luxury travel. It's just you got to get to. That's where the business is. I'm going.
Yeah. So much faster. So much.
So much faster than
Yeah.
when we were growing up when I was growing up.
Yeah. Yes.
Definitely.
Okay. Well, we connect via internet, so it's easy as well, of course.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course. Of
Yes.
course. When it's working, it's great.
Yeah, of course. And well, people are curious. So I think a lot of people are curious about what is my sign and can I expect and how can I make decisions. I think that like maybe royalties in the past also consulted astrologers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, the column in a newspaper began because of Princess Margaret. Everybody was interested with Princess Margaret. She was Queen Elizabeth's sister.
Yeah.
It was in the 1930s, and somebody had the idea to sell more newspapers. They would make columns with astrology and royal activities.
Oh, okay.
The thing you have to remember, though, is that that is only based on one planet, the sun.
Yes.
And if you really look at your whole chart, like you know yourself, you're not just one thing.
No.
You could be a mother, you could be a cook, you could be an artist, but you're something else. So all of the sun sign astrology, which is major bread and butter of the internet, is 1/12 of the program. I mean, because we have all sorts of other important things.
Yes.
So sometimes when I do workshops and we're talking about compatibility, they would say, "Oh, Scorpio and Aquarius, they don't get along." Well, how are you married? Yes. How long have you been married? 40 years. So I think you're doing a good job.
Yes.
You have to understand that there's more than just the sun signs.
Yes, of course. It's also like a soul connection between people, not only the astrology's connection.
Right. If you have, not everybody has it, but it's usually there's a reason, this lifetime or a past lifetime. Most astrologers, including myself, believe that we've lived many lifetimes before.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Me too.
I don't see, yeah, I'm sure. I don't see a problem with it. If people only want to be kings and queens, so sometimes they say, "Oh yes, I know I was a queen in a past life." I say, "Well, honey, everybody thinks they're a queen." No, I don't say that. But there are resonances from past life experiences,
Yes.
and we can work with them. Or if they're not particularly important this lifetime, get on with it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sometimes you can see things that are happening in past lives that have influence, and you can see it in the.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. Because there's a part of the chart, the 12th house,
Mhm.
it governs the unconscious and many past life interests. It's not, sometimes there's no residue now. It's not an issue this lifetime.
No.
But I remember one child, no, she was older than a child, but her mother came to me and she had terrible nightmares. I mean, horrible up until the time she was 17 or 18.
Yes.
And I truly felt that she was being influenced by past life events.
Okay.
And there are people, perhaps you are one of them, that could help alleviate those past life memories so that they're calmer and they don't bother this current life. I don't know. Do you do that kind of work? Past life regression?
Yes, yes. The last years I do it more often because sometimes people come to my practice and they say, "Oh, I've been to a medium and he told me this and this and that," and I know then that's what happened in the past life. And we have homeopathic remedies who can prescribe for those kind of traumas. And when I do my photo readings, I'm sometimes getting it as well, so I can write it also as well, the remedies. So
Right.
yeah.
So the remedies are the flower remedies or other kinds of
You can have remedies from plants, from flowers, from the most trauma is in the flowers, in the plants remedies. Sometimes you have like minerals or animal based remedies, of course, and it depends on the kind of trauma. And that's what I like about homeopathy as much because you don't have to heal them only in this life. You can heal them from all that. It is a soul.
right. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I didn't know that in the beginning when I just started, but it's when you are approved and continue with practicing, then you notice, oh, it's not only this life. And it is.
There is a school in Greece on the island of, I think it's Skiathos, a homeopathic school. The man who runs it is 95 years old and he's still practicing. And
He took us.
Yeah.
He took us. Yeah, he's a very known man in the homeopathic world.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And he gives also like online lessons, so everybody can follow him and see his lessons.
I think I knew that. Yes.
Yes.
It's a beautiful place to be.
Yeah. Maybe I have to go someday to follow his lessons in real time.
Why not? It would be a vacation and
Yes.
for your knowledge as well.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Definitely.
And do we have like maybe like a last tip for our viewers then when how to come through this era of time?
Yes. My salvation is swimming because I need the water. If you find anything that calms you down and gives you something, practice it as if you were healing not only your life, but other people's lives.
Okay.
And have a great deal of patience with yourself because it won't be forever like this.
No. Okay.
But it's right now a very important thing to take care of yourself and for mothers and fathers to take care of their children as best they can.
Yes.
But this sounds so simple. It's not simple, but
yeah. To stay positive although
and also eat well, you know. I think in Europe you have a great advantage because there are rules about what kinds of additives they can put in food and things like that. You know, there are not in America.
No.
And if you see the obesity problem in this country, it's horrible because they're eating processed food. And it's not because of finances. I mean, processed food is more expensive, I think, sometimes.
Okay.
Anyway, that's a tangent. I think like my favorite Greek, Socrates said, know thyself.
Yes.
That will help you choose a way of life that is comforting and positive.
Yes. And I think also it's a good thing to know about that you're just a soul and living this lifetime and that you're not here forever. So after this life, you go further in your soul and just live your best life you can and stay positive.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's a big job.
Yes, a big job, of course. Yeah. Don't ever watch only the television. Just go watching YouTube,
Right.
YouTube things and read nice books. Maybe read books of you, of course.
Oh, that'd be good. Read my books. That would be a nice situation.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we worked out our mechanics here.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad too. So I want to thank you for this interview, for this conversation. Thank you very much.
My
And I will
pleasure.
put your website in beneath, of course.
Very good. And if I come to Amsterdam, I will knock on your door.
Yeah, we can meet. I live near Amsterdam, in Zwolle. It's another place, but it's nearby Amsterdam. It's closer than
Everything is
New York.
nearby.
Yes, yes, so nearby. Yes. Okay.
Good.
Thank you
Very
very much.
nice. Thank you.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.